Action.
Well, hello everybody. Hope you're having a nice weekend. Once again, this is our weekly sports entertainment show. This is DS. RJ unfortunately is not here this week. He had something to take care of, but he should be back next week. So let's talk about sports. The entertainment thing we'll talk about a little bit later, but let's talk about the more important thing, which is the sports. Okay, if you did watch the games last week, especially the college football games, you saw some hell of a game between Alabama and Texas A&M. That's what college football is all about. At the end of the day, as usual, Alabama proved why they're the number one team in the nation. I mean, Menzel, Johnny Football, whatever you call him, is a good quarterback, but at the end he made the mistakes. As far as defensively, that's the most points Alabama gave up in a long time. And Texas A&M, well, they really don't have a defense. So that's still a little problem. But it was a heck of a game, but Alabama at the end of the day did what they had to do. So it was a good game. Let's talk about another game that was last week. The rivalry of all rivalries. Michigan and Notre Dame. I mean, to me, it doesn't get better than that. At the end of the day, yeah, my team came up short, my Notre Dame, but hey, that's the end of that. I know a lot of people talking about the rivalry's dead and that Notre Dame's chicken, that they don't want to play them anymore, put them on the schedule. Well, next year they're going to be part of the ACC, so they got to play their games. Hopefully, in the next couple of years, maybe they'll play each other in a bowl game, or maybe, hopefully, a national championship, which everybody will love to see, obviously. Well, let's talk about some of the games this weekend. Okay, there's a couple of decent games there. You got LSU and Auburn. Or as I say, who's going to play second fiddle to Alabama? Now, I haven't seen either one of them play, but I know in the past couple of years, it's always been like a bomb burner. Okay, so I figure like 34-31 LSU. So that should be it. Then we got Michigan coming off that game against the game they almost lost to Akron, of all things. But usually I see this in a lot of years, but being, I'm not a betting person anymore, but I know all about it. Usually after Notre Dame and Michigan play each other, usually the next game they don't cover the spread or sometimes they even lose. I mean, Notre Dame just got by beating Purdue, and Michigan, luckily they got by playing Akron. Well, they're playing UConn this week. So let's see what happens with that. They'll probably come back and, do what they got to do. But with UConn, hey, you never know. I figured they'll probably win by a touchdown. Maybe like 34-27, something like that. No other games that are really, as far as the schedule. Well, let's talk about the NFL. Okay? We got a couple of good games this weekend. Okay? We got Pittsburgh and Chicago, or as I call it, two of the oldest teams in football. Okay? Should be a defensive struggle. Always is. So far, Chicago's doing good. Offensive line's hanging in there. Color has only been sacked once. Pittsburgh's looking bad. So you got 0-2 against 2-0. Well, at the end of the day, I like Chicago to win 17-13. And as far as the other games, well, I think the Giants will finally rebound and beat Carolina because they should. Okay, they lost a tough one to Denver, but offensively, they're a mess right now. They just, whatever's missing, the running game, they have to figure this out. So we'll see what happens with that. Then you got some other games along the way. You got the Jets against Buffalo. Buffalo seems to be doing okay. I like Buffalo 24-17. And as far as any other games, Denver and Oakland. Well, you people know out there, I am a Raider fan. And so far, surprisingly, they're 1-1. Could have been 2-0, but, well, hey, that game in Indianapolis, what can I tell you? Well, this is the game for them to show them, to see if they're part of the conversation in the NFC West. Now, Kansas City, as you all know, just beat Philly the other night. So they're 3-0, surprisingly. But they won more games so far this year. They won all of last year. But, hey, you got a quarterback, you got a coach that's been around for a while. And then you got a quarterback, an Alex Smith, that's been around for a long time. And, he's basically, having like a manager out there. Okay? Just throws the ball and needs it, makes very rarely mistakes. He's not going to, if your fantasy guys are going to get 300-400 yards out of somebody, it won't be him. He'll get you what he'll get you, 200-300 yards, but your interceptions will be low. So, not really part of my fantasy thing or really anybody else's. So, we'll see about that. But at the end of the day, I basically see in Denver winning 24-17. But, hey, maybe the Raiders will surprise. So, as far as football, that's about it. Let's talk about baseball, because the races are getting really interesting, folks. In the National League, well, basically Atlanta magic number's 1, so they'll probably clinch today. Washington got hot too late. Pittsburgh, St. Louis, Cincinnati. Well, let's see what happens. Right now, since St. Louis is up by 2 games, but hey, you got 8-9 games to go. Anything could change. As far as the American League, well, good luck to that. Well, first of all, let's congratulate the Dodgers for clinching. And as far as the Red Sox, for them clinching. Detroit's getting close, Oakland's getting close, but as far as the playoffs, with 8-9 games to go, it's a difference of 3 games. Okay, you got Baltimore, Cleveland, Texas, Tampa Bay, and the Yankees. Well, let's see what happens. The Yankees are looking on the outside, looking in, and that's the way it's going to remain. I don't see them making the playoffs, and I said that a long time ago. They get hot now, but at the end of the day, and another thing, even though I'm not a Yankee fan, never have been, or because people think I live in the Bronx think I'm a Yankee fan. No, I've been a Met fan all my life. Well, you know what? Gotta give respect to Mariano Rivera for having a great career. I know most teams ain't gonna miss you. And I heard yesterday Andy Pettit's gonna hang it up. Well, hey, it's time. Well, Yankees, just like any other team that, that gets older, you're gonna be rebuilding. Now, as far as Derek Jeter's concerned, okay, everybody's talking about next year, this and that. Well, let me tell you something. The man's going to be 39, 40. Your ankle's not the same. You're not going to be back the same. You might consider retiring. If not, then be DH. But basically, your career will not be the same. Your ankle is not as strong as it used to be when you were 20, 25. That's just a fact. Okay? Everybody's looking at Adrian Peterson as well. He came back from that. Okay? That's a football player. Baseball players and football players are built differently. Okay? We all know that. So that's the end of that. But that playoff should be interesting. At the end of the day, I probably see Tampa Bay and Texas holding up. But Cleveland, hey, we'll see. They might hang in there too. So we'll see about that. As far as boxing goes, hopefully you guys had a chance to check out the pay-per-view. If not, you can watch it on Showtime tonight at 9 o'clock. Nice plug. Mayweather against Alvarez and Matisse against Garcia. More than likely, Garcia is going to be the next opponent of Mayweather. By now, people even know what probably happened. Okay, Andre Ward, who basically is to me pound per pound the second best fighter in the world, should get a shot at Mayweather, but he respects him enough, thinks of him like a father or a brother, so that might never happen. It's too bad because that would be the fight of all fights. Pacquiao and Mayweather had their chance a long time ago, but neither one, for whatever reason, egos or blood testing or whatever, it never happened. So that's the end of that. So that's about it as far as sports goes. Let's see, anything else in sports that I missed? No, I guess that's about it. Okay, well, now I'll take up RJ's topic, entertainment. Okay, so far let's see, as far as this week goes, Dancing with the Stars came back. You have Snooki, you have Valerie Harper, who's got cancer or in remission. Well, wish her all the luck in the road. Snooki, who's 4 foot something. We'll see what happens with that. And now we have these new shows coming up that's going to be on. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which I saw wasn't bad. That's which was okay. Then we have the shows returning. Nashville, Revenge. They're both going to be returning next week. And then, of course, we have new shows coming on. NBC. Or as I call it, Nobody Cares. The Blacklist looks very interesting. Ironside, I don't know why. And Michael J. Fox, no comment on that. I think basically the commercials are insulting and people should basically protest the show. But hey, that's just me, I guess. So we'll see about that. Let's see, anything else we're talking about on the TV shows? Well, of course, let's not forget this. For all you Dexter fans out there, well, tomorrow's it, folks. What's going to happen? I really don't know what's going to happen. Okay, Breaking Bad fans, I guess the same thing. I haven't watched it. A fan of, but never really seen it. But well, that's another thing. And I just read Mad Men will be back for one more season, which they're going to split into 2 seasons, just like they did with Breaking Bad. But as far as Dexter goes, I think somebody dies. Will it be Dexter? I don't think so. But hey, we'll find out tomorrow. So that's about it as far as that goes. One other thing before I go. This week I was fortunate enough to go to the America's Got Talent finale at Radio City, which I haven't been to in like 5-6 years. Amazing place. If you ever get a chance to go there, folks, do so. Took some pictures. It was kind of cool. Saw the judges. And, it was great to see. And if people don't know who won, well, Kenichi won, which is basically no surprise to people. But Taylor Williamson, the comedian, surprisingly came in second. Very much surprised. Well, I thought it was so much fun. I was there for the whole thing. It was really entertaining and all. But I did have a couple of comments towards it, which I didn't particularly like. And this is pertaining to Mel B. Mel B, I love you to death. Red dress never looked better on anybody in their life, so you're basically, to me, one of the hottest people on television. Okay, you know, if you playing the second fiddle to Heidi Klum, I think it's ridiculous, but, well, that's the way, basically, they want it to be set up that way. I just know when I'm looking, when I'm watching America's Got Talent and there's a singer performing, I'm going to listen to what you got to say. Not Heidi Klum, who's a model, not Howard Stern, who's a big mouth, and not Mandel, who's a comedian. Taylor Williamson he can talk about, but other than that, no, I'm going to listen to what you got to say. What I'm really PO'd about is basically the finale, which you should have performed. Your song came out, and you should have performed it. The reason why I'm saying this is because I know other shows, American Idol, The Voice, and even America's Got Talent. Okay, when they had some of the singers as judges, they performed their songs, and it was during the semifinals and the finals. Okay, people like J-Lo, Britney Spears, Brandy, and even Paula Abdul of all people. Yeah, even her. So what did they do? They pushed you aside. They said, well, we'll keep you on because the fans like you, but other than that, you're never going to get a shot to perform. And then when I was at the finale, and they basically were playing your song by me during the commercial break, or maybe it was live, I really don't know. They basically played 30 seconds of it, and I could see you were pissed off. Okay, and I don't blame you. So you know what, Mel B? I love you to death. I wish you well. Hope your record's #1 or whatever happens with it in your album. But you know what? If I was you, wouldn't even bother to come back, because to me, at the end of the day, they treated you like dirt. They basically used you. And one other comment I have, this is towards Howard Stern. Okay, I know you're a big radio personality, shock jock, all that other stuff, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but there was one little comment that I found insulting, and so did basically the audience. This is pertaining to your little comment about back in 1980. Well, when I was at like I said, when I was at the finale the other day, I don't know if this was on camera or off camera. You know, he basically said, that how can anybody hire somebody as crazy as me? But Simon Cowell did, because Simon Cowell's as crazy as he is. Then he brought up that basically his words were put this way. Well, in 1980, I was fired by NBC. And at the time, Grant Tinker was the president of NBC, who said to me, Howard, you will never be on this station ever again. Well, 33 years later, well, Grant Tinker's dead, and I'm still here, and that's that. Well, I kind of find that insulting. Okay? Talking about dead people now? Now you're insulting dead people? It's bad enough that you're insulting people that are alive. Now you're insulting a dead person. Let's make you understand this, Mr. Stern. Okay? Okay? Just like your movie Farm Man, basically what comes out of you is basically hot air. Okay? If it wasn't for people like Wolfman Jack, Lenny Bruce, Cousin Brucey, Don Imus, you wouldn't be anybody. Okay? Because like I said all along to enough people, okay, this generation, whatever, okay, there's people that come before you, okay, that basically put everybody on the map before you did. Okay? That's why the old saying, respect your elders, is what it is. Okay, so saying stuff like that didn't need to be said. You could have basically said, well, I thank NBC and America's Got Talent for another year of me being the judge. Couldn't thank them enough. That's cool to say. But no, you're ripping on a dead person. Congratulations, you're 10 years old. Okay? So, folks, I guess that's about it. So, if you have any comments or anything that you would like me to maybe talk about, well, one other thing I would like to talk about. I mean, I don't know if you people into it, but if you are wrestling fans out there, if you've been watching WWE the past couple of weeks, you can see when John Cena's not there, it's not the same. Now you got this thing with Triple H and Stephanie. Well, the only reason this is going on is because John Cena is basically the showcase of WWE Raw, and basically the first couple of years he has been. Randy Orton's got no charisma. He's basically like a brick wall. And my yes, yes, yes guy, which like him because of this, obviously, they're going to basically do this stuff to him as long as they want to do to him, because that's what they have to do. He'll be champion one of these days again, hopefully, and that'll be that. Now, as far as the other one, TNA, I don't know if people watch TNA, but I do. I appreciate TNA. I like TNA. It's too bad they don't go to bigger arenas, but even though Hulk Hogan's basically, in charge of, and the entertainment, For some reason they can't do it. Well, let me tell you something, TNA. If you're smart, next year, in the summertime, like they did back in 1980 with WWE, like the Farewell to Bruno, why don't you go fill Shea Stadium? I think you got enough fans out there that you can do it, or some other place, maybe the Barclays Center. Branch out, because again, you're gonna always be behind. I mean, your matches are good. They're still not in the class of WWE, but they're getting there. You're more exciting, but your matches don't last as long. So I guess that's about it, folks. One other thing, well, let's talk about, before I go, the movies, the blockbusters are going to be coming out. Okay, there's only basically like 3 movies that are going to be coming out. If you're a fan of Thor, Thor The Dark World will be coming out November 8th. And of course, you Hunger Game fans, well, look forward to that. Hunger Games Catch Your Fire will be coming out November 22nd. And The Wolves of Wall Street will